G'day folks. For this afternoon's little equipment autopsy, we have a Noritsu QSF-V30. This is a photo film developing machine. I think it's designed for 35mm film, and yeah, we're going to take it apart. It won't be down to every last nut and bolt. I do want to kind of get rid of it in one big chunk, but at least we'll be able to get all the covers off and a lot of the main drive equipment and everything out, and go from there. But as you can see, we've got circuit pawn, lots of it. Main control boards, that's power 2 board. There'll be main logic, which goes up to floppy drive, control panel, all that stuff. There's control up there. Power, that's AC 240 volts going in. Various MOSFETs and fuses. Motor drive stuff. There's a lot of servo motors in this, or synchronous, or not so much synchronous, I think more like BLDC, brushless DC motors. There's a board down here which is another power supply. It's a Rubicon power supply. There's a lot of corrosion. Oh, it's not. No, it's moisture. This has been outside, so I'm going to have to give it a bit of a clean down. I'll spray it with some contact cleaner and dry it off before I power it on, because I can see water and moisture all over that part of the board, so as soon as I power it up it's going to go pop. But the rest of it looks okay. It's just that bottom board. It's been out in the weather. Oh nice, it's got a toolkit as well. Got the whole lot. Looks like half of it hasn't even been used. That's neat. Wouldn't have been a cheap bit of kit back in the day. It's hooked up to a 3-phase, or no, sorry, it's a heavy-duty single-phase plug. I was going to say 3-phase is any one phase to neutral for 240, but this is actually a heavy-duty single-phase plug. As you can see, they've only used the black and red conductors in the earth. It only pulls about 15 amps, so I can run it here. I don't know why they put the big plug on it. I guess because of the 3-phase utility, or the heavy... it's not even a 3-phase plug, so I don't know why they put the big plug on it. I guess that's just what their utilities had. The business end of it, the chemical end of it's a bit of a mess. Very corroded. I think there's a lot of ammonia in some of these developing chemicals. I've already pumped a lot of this stuff out and drained a lot out, but there is still some in these tanks, so I'm just going to combine the lot of it and leave it at that. Most of it will neutralise once it's combined. I'll put it in my photographic chemical waste drum and get it picked up by an approved company. The local rubbish tip won't take it, but there is a Detox Your Home program going on the Mornington Peninsula where I can get photographic chemicals picked up. So that's where all that stuff's going to go. It's that 1400 watt, 240 volt. That's probably a heat lamp dryer. That'll be for drying the negatives. As this isn't a printing machine. This just develops the negatives. You'd load them into a cartridge in a dark room, or I think this actually had a hood you could work under, a dark hood. So you'd load them all into a cartridge. Come on, open your bastard. No. The RAM on this thing's dead. You'd load them into cartridges, or a cartridge, and load them in 2 at a time, and push the go button, and it'd feed them through here under these covers through each stage of development, each chemical tank. And provided the chemistry and everything's just right, it would work really well. You'd end up with a fully developed colour film getting spat out this end here. Now, if you one of the issues with running one of these at home is you can't run enough film to really, well, you'd be pushing it to run enough film to keep the chemistry happy. If you don't run enough film, the chemistry becomes highly imbalanced and you get really bad negative developments. So from a hobby standpoint, this machine's pretty much useless. Like, you wouldn't wouldn't even consider running this at home if you only do a few reels a month or something. It's just there's no point. It's one of the reasons why these aren't really in demand anymore. Parts for them are. A few photo labs around here still run them. My most close local lab has a much older unit than this, but again, they won't spend much money at all repairing it, and when it does go, it goes. They're not going to bother replacing it, because analog is basically a dying breed, which is unfortunate because analog film can yield really good results, but digital is really killing it now. So the demand for spare parts and machines like this is almost non-existent. So anyway, let's strip some covers off. Actually no, not strip covers off, let's put some power to it and see what it does. We've got to do that first, that's obligatory. Definitely got to try and power it up after washing some of the moisture off this board. I don't know if that's just a standby power supply or what, but it's completely independent of that one. Alright, well, I think I've got the moisture out of the boards. Let's give it some power and see what happens. Ooh, that looks promising. Oh, it doesn't like me. I think I've got too many covers off. Ah. Yeah, it's telling me these are too low. Vacuum pump. No, sorry, compressor. Yeah, that's an air compressor. That's not doing anything yet. Shut up. Yeah, it's not going to do anything until I add chemicals. Actually, what does it say? Yes or no? It's total. It's making funny noises. Total rolls. Is that date coded? I don't know. 13524. Oh, is that? Oh, that's film type 36. Yeah, number of shots per roll. 13524 is the most common. It's done quite a few. 20, was it 2,728 plus the rest of them? Yeah. Go back. Password. It actually wants a password to access the floppy drive. Not that I have a disk for it. Yeah, process solution level too low. Oh well. I'm not going to get bothered trying to fill it up with anything. We know it was working when it came out of commission. It's just got a lot of miles on it. A lot of them. It's a high mile machine, and it looks rather crusty and nasty down in there. I don't know if I'll get to pulling this apart completely. Yeah. I don't think there's much point. If I add chemicals, all it's going to do is fill the rest of the system up that I've already drained, and make disassembly even more messy and potentially dangerous. Yeah. There's a film path down there. got to work its way all the way down through the developer tanks and out again. It's actually displaying fairly accurate temperatures. No, password. I need to enter a password to do thermosensor calibration. Oh well. It's got an interesting little dot matrix LCD. That might be handy for somebody. Backlight. Oh, password again. Nothing written or hidden anywhere. It's a bit long to be a password. It's only showing 4 digits. It might have been on the back panel, but I've already thrown the metal panel out, so bug it if I know. Is that showing 24 volt status, old pressure status? $12 volt, 5 volt, 2.5 volt, and another 12 volt. All green, good. Yeah. At least it's got LEDs for everything. It tells you what it's doing and what's working. Like that relay's latched, that one isn't. Those power buses are powered up. Yeah, interesting. Nice bit of kit. Would not have been cheap back in its day. I can tell you right now. Someone probably spent 12.5 grand on this. It's kind of a shame to scrap it. It's a bit of a relic of the analog film era. All made redundant by what's filming this video. Digital. Anyway, let's turn it off for the last time. Actually, one thing I just noticed, there's another switch here. The drive system. Oh, it does work. Making some horrible noises. Shut up. Now it's working. I'm getting air intake. Look at that. You can actually turn the drive on and off. Yeah, heater's working. Okay, so just getting into the machine, it looks like everything's run off a AC 50Hz synchronous gear motor, which is that thing there, 50Hz synchronous motor. And it's all based on the amount of time it spends in the solution and the chemistry of the solution. Starting in here, the film will come through, guided down into stage 1, which is a fairly large unit. It has to come all the way down and then back up again. Stage 2, much shorter, different solution. 3, again fairly short, most of these are about the same size. 4, 5, getting shorter. 6, and then 7. And I imagine it corresponds with this one here. It starts out here, and then you go, yeah, fixer, stabilizer, and then done. Interesting. I don't know much about photo films, so I can't really tell you what exactly those chemicals are or what they do. I know there's some for development, some for stabilising, some for cleaning and replenishment, various other things like that, but yeah, that's all in there. And there's the tanks back there. Yeah, that's the main tank there anyway, main body. This is all just storage, that's all empty thankfully. Should be able to get a thermistor or something out of here. I think that's solution temperature or level sensing. Could be level sensing. Interesting. Okay, so on the front of it, we've got the main control console. I'll have to strip that off separately. And we've also got the main input feeder, which is also a independent unit. Notice most of the stuff is stainless steel or hard-wearing plastic, like nylon or acetal. All this is stainless. The motors aren't, but that's about it. Fairly well made and chemical resistant. Yeah, I might separate the whole lot off the front of this thing. I don't know. So it's a door interlock. Once it's in process, it locks the door shut and you can't open it. A couple of optical sensors there to tell it if anything's in. To tell it if a cartridge is loaded. A small control board there. That'll be control for the motors. It'll also receive the signals from these optical sensors and everything, and then connect back down to the main control board that I've removed. Not bad. That's where the little air compressor connects to. I'm guessing it's all to do with fume control. Yeah, there's a little bit salvageable in this, not a lot. Most of it's really crusty old PVC hoses. There's no point trying to salvage that stuff. Same with the tanks. They're interesting, but again, what do you use them for? Yeah, that's the back side of them. They've all got fittings on the lower half, so I guess if I get the cleaner of the two, drain them out and use them, that'll be alright. But again, what do you use them for? So probably better off just leaving it all together and calling it general scrap metal. There's not really much point in pulling half this stuff out. I'll definitely keep all the sensors. I'll pull that out, the feeder, synchronous motor, blower and heater, the dryer, all this gear, these chains and sprockets and things, that'll all come out. There's some little bellows style feeder pumps and valves. I could keep them, but that's about it. There ain't much else in it. It's actually really simple. I might keep the sticker too. It's not all that old, I don't think. I think it's like early 2000s. Maybe late 90s at the earliest. Now there we go, we're getting into the good stuff. Awesome, I've got some magnetic DC 24 volt 5 watt pumps, little impulse pumps from the tanks. These are designed to fill up the development tanks at the top. The hoses themselves are really manky, they're not worth keeping. I'll definitely go through and strip some of these nice little hose clamps off, but apart from that, the rest of it's pretty much trash. You can go straight to the tip or the scrap metal yard, either one. They all take it for nothing, so I'll just dispose of it as I see fit. This end here I haven't stripped down yet. I've got to pull the output unit out in the dryer, take the heater and the blower out, the AC synchronous motor, and that's about it. Maybe a couple of these pumps and valves. I've drained most of these. There's a little bit of nastiness in some of them. Yeah, I've drained most of this stuff. There are some residual chemicals, but they're not too bad. Yeah, little diaphragm pumps. But then they are they're connected to the bottom of these bottles, so as soon as I cut them out, they're going to start leaking. So I guess I better turn them. It should be off. Cross the valve, turns it off. Soon find out when I start cutting things. Interesting. Alright, before it gets too dark, I've pretty much got most of what I want out of it. I've just got to find a way to get that motor out, blower and heater, and that's about it, and some of the hose clamps. That's all there is to it. There's not really much else at all. The rest of that's not really worth gutting. I've already pulled all the pumps and everything out. I'll grab some more clamps off the top. They're all 316 marine grade stainless clamps. Good for low pressure stuff. They're not proper hose clamps, but they're good for static pressure, like clear vinyl tubing and that sort of thing. They're okay. So yeah, that's about done. Thanks for watching. It's going to probably be too dark by the time I'm done, so let's wrap it up now and you know what to expect. I'm just going to push it onto the trailer and dump it at the junkyard.